Hello, beautiful people. How you doing? It's an amazing time, amazing moments, amazing topic we want to treat today with very interesting guests. So you're welcome on. You're welcome once again to Straight in Cathedral. You know it's your boy ready, Dimeji. You're welcome. So you just give me some few minutes while I add my guest. Okay. Okay, Bassey, yeah. Bassey is online. Wait for just a few minutes and you're gonna pop up. And I should also be Oduma, Mr. Oduma.
That's good,
How
brother.
you doing, my brother?
I'm good. Nice
You
to be here.
looking good, man. You're looking good.
Thank you very much. You're not bad yourself.
Man, I'm so happy to see you. Like, it's been how
Yeah,
many years? Please.
a long
Wow,
time.
it's been a while.
Long time.
How's the family? How's the hustle and everything?
Everything is fine.
Okay,
All
I,
is good.
I just I want the other guests to join, so I don't keep repeating myself. So let me just invite him as well. Just give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Hmm. Uh, so you should be online. I don't know what's going on. You should be online. Yomi, big shout out to everybody that is joining. Big shout out to you. Big shout out, Bali Queen, the dancer. I'm always following your work. I'm on this your dancing video here. After person don't watch up, person just supposed to like this. In the name of the Father and of the Son and Holy Spirit. Yeah, oh blue. That's my guy, that's my brother. How you doing, man? Um Yomi, Afana should join already. So I just sent him an invite. Hopefully he's gonna he was supposed to be on this live. I don't know. You navigated it very easily. So he was just supposed to join. So Yomi, thank God you are here. So send me a request to join this video or good.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
We know they see your face.
camera needs. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to make sure this runs very quickly. Let me first give a shout out to everybody that is joining online. Thank you very much. I can see you. So yeah, today's topic is embracing the life and author. But before we delve into the topic, let me introduce you to my space. Let me welcome you to my space properly. You know, it's like you came to my home now, so I must make you feel comfortable. So you guys are welcome
Okay.
to Street and Cathedral. Street and Cathedral is an idea that I've been working on for some time right now. The street there doesn't necessarily connote anything negative. It's just a voice of the common people. And now I think I can use the word it's a leveler because here classism holds no, it holds no valid reputation. in this angle. Why? Because you could come here as wherever you are to come and hear your opinion. This is a very safe space for you to come and hear your opinion. So I stumbled upon upon these thoughts, and I was like, must we all wait till we become the whiskey before we can hear our opinion about what affects me and you's life? So I don't think we should, we should wait till that celebrity tag effect upon our life, upon us, before we could hear our opinion. And cathedral there does not necessarily stand for Christianity. It's just, the essence of spirituality we align with. Spirituality aspect of man is a very complex angle where we don't want to respect or tamper with. So it's just those aspects of man that we have to revere. So cathedral there is just an honest reflection of where I'm coming from, which is I'm a Christian and I do not intend to change anytime soon. So you're welcome to Street and Cathedral. I'll do the introduction based on punctuality. So Mr. Bassey was the one here. Bassey Oduma. This is someone I respect so much. Bassey and I we have history back in the varsity. He was actually my senior when we were in varsity then, in the same department, the same college, the same department and faculty. One spectacular thing I love about Bassey is that he has this very calm nature. He's like a direct opposite of my energy, but intellectually we could actually relate. But his nature is so calm that I feel Bassey can actually absorb anybody into he can actually absorb anybody into being your friend, giving you that listening ear. But at the same time, he doesn't mind you to express yourself, but it's just that very, very calm. And he's someone I have so much respect for, and intellectual wise, he's an enigma. He's a published author. I think we in the house were published author. So you're welcome on board. Welcome to Street and Cathedral, Bassey Oduma. Welcome properly.
Thank you. I am glad to be here. I'm looking forward to having a very intellectual and productive conversation.
Yeah. So thank you for the honor. So on my right here is Yomi. Bello. I just need to state this clearly to everybody. Yomi is my cousin. And this is not some sort of, some people will say I'm distant cousin. We are not distant at all. He's my direct cousin like this. It's like, bam, traceable cousin. So we'll be like that. As a GSS1, there were times when I will come to your crib to come and sleep.
Way back.
So we've been like that. We've been that body. And and it's so amazing how we've grown, and to now see him, he's the new V author in this conversation. So to now see him being a published author, even behind the scene before he became a published author, he reached out to me and all. And I'm so happy, I'm so impressed, and I feel like wow, this is some sort of things we need to encourage more people, and we need to talk about so people can actually understand and also learn and also be encouraged to venture into this. So Gbade-Bello is a proper MC compare. Proper, he's not just a published author now. He's the new, what will I say? We and I be like Idris Abdulkarim and maybe Terry. Gbade-Bello na Rema for this writing, Now you enjoy the stand-up now. I go look here. So you're welcome on board, brother. You're welcome on board.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Everyone that is, that's about to join or is already on this recording. It's a pleasure. Let me put the surname in proper context because my dad's first name is part of my surname. So Gbade-Bello. So that kind of differentiates my name from every other person's name. So it's a pleasure to be on Street and Cathedral, to be on my cousin, like he said, Dimeji Shodeke, we have been, like, if I put it in proper context, like, we're in GS1 in 2002. That's in 22 years. So, I mean, it's been a whole lot that we have gone through, but we thank God for the grace, chance, opportunity, and everything that has made us become who we are and where we are still here now and where we are going to be in time to come. So, Mr. Bassey, I also applaud you. Nice to be on the show with you. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I hope to have a great time with everyone this evening. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to throw this question to the house. But before I throw the question out, I just want to give a background conversation. We are into the business of creativity. In the business of creativity, we have a very, very booming industry that is tempting. That is the music. Music is experiencing their $1 billion industry right now in Africa. We have textile, right? We have painting, we have sculpture, now we ventured into writing. So there's a lot of expectation, curiosity in people's mind, questioning, and a lot of people feel like, these people, there's this image they built in their mind. So I want us, since we are all published author, I want us to throw that open into the air. Like, let's take it literally from the topic. How is the life of an author? Especially we author from Nigeria, author from Africa, author from the scratch base, that we know that we have these gifts, talents, we have this story, but we just want to put it, want to trap it down, and want to push for ourselves. More like the music guys who also started recording in Ajegule and got a record label, and before we know it, they're now boom, African China, boom. So how has it been so far, so good? How has it been to be honest? So you be new bill. I know say you get, let the old G first come in before the new G.
Okay.
All right. How has it been? I know
Yeah,
as
come
an
on.
author. Well, okay, first, I know simply, let me start from there. Someone who creates content using the available material in the society, their experiences and all that, to convey information to a larger audience. That's what we basically do as writers, as authors, those who have been published, for instance. Now, in Africa, it's not really been as smooth or as easy as you want to imagine it when you venture into writing, especially if you have gone into the process with this mindset of, oh, I'm going to make millions from it. At first, you may find it very frustrating because there are a lot of bottlenecks that I'm sure we'll get to talk about later that will prevent you from actually achieving that dream that you've had, that I just want to just write one great book and then just blow. Just like in the music, a musician will just release one single and life becomes totally different for for him or her. But for writers, it's not really you want to wonder why is it like that? Well, it is like that because to start with, in the generation we are now, there are a lot of distraction that people away from actually reading. There are a lot of distraction that takes people away from, reading written text. Okay, that is
Let
one
us,
major challenge that
I'm
you
sorry,
have to
Bassey.
face.
I need to cut you there because this is more like the introductory question. So you've been touching the depth parts that we are going to get to. So maybe you are wrong. Maybe the newbie go tell us, say, maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't sabi way. Say, we can sing one song now. And it more way, low more way. Maybe we don't sabi way. So, Yomi, how far? How has it been? Being a published author, how has it been so far?
Like you rightly put it, obviously, I'm a newbie, I mean, in terms of having a published work,
Yeah, of course.
I
That's
mean,
what I mean.
I'm absolutely a newbie, but over time, I mean, I've always found myself constantly having to put out stuffs either via online platforms. Maybe, I mean, I'm just trying to put it in proper context or perspective, you know. But ever since I now ventured into writing, like, I mean, publishing work, I mean, I think the reception generally has been totally different. I mean, the way people now see or perceive me, the way I think people perceive me is
Like
totally different.
start, please,
Okay,
please, be literally.
o-
You're Mr.
okay,
So
okay,
no mix what
okay.
we talk and talk.
Uh,
You know they follow them aspire to perspire talk. We dare mix up for
uh,
the except we go
okay,
sanction you. Be
okay.
plain.
Let me give you. I always like, because I mean, I like to buttress what when I speak. I always like to buttress my speakings or sayings with proverbs. I'm still going to get there, but let me just give you a plain, very straightforward example. My boss, like at work, our CEO, doesn't even call me by my name again. When he sees me or when I just see him, the first thing he calls me is like Otto. Like, so that's like I had a total change of name and perception. I mean, so if I'm starting from him, do you understand? Then people that are even closer, maybe my age mates, my people within my, I mean, the way they see me totally is different. Fine. I know that there are challenges when you look at maybe Nigeria, for example, the things you have to think about, everything you have to reason. So you coming up, because someone mentioned it, I think during my book launch, I think it was the commissioner. Yeah. The commissioner for youth and social development that was at my book launch. It was like, I mean, when you look at everything surrounding you currently, you look at maybe the economic woes, you look at maybe financial challenges, then somebody now has the time to sit down and says he wants to write, and he doesn't just write, he decides to publish the work. I mean, you know that it's actually not something small, even though you might, maybe you don't, Yoruba people used to say èèyàn ò kí ń mọ ìyà ara ẹ̀. Like, you might not appreciate or value yourself that much, but the way people perceive you and perceive what you do or what you have done goes it goes
Okay.
a
So
long way.
let me take it from there. Bassey, you agree with me now? You the year book launch where commissioner of youth come. You say, it be like say they tell you now, and to my way no more. Jokes aside, I'm just the kind of course you guys know me. I like to joke even when because what's the point of trying to have an intellectual conversation now? We are more like we are making it a military environment. Everything is just too serious and all. Now let's move into the in-depth conversation right now. Because I also remember when I first published my first book. To be quite honest, my first book started with the fact that I had this story in my head, in my mind. And the first person that was listening to my story all this while was my younger brother. I was just sitting down. I would start downloading. He was tired of my story. He knew my book from chapter 1 to the end. Because after we've eaten I would just delve into the story. I would even ask him questions. Sometimes we argue on characters. So I was so captivated with the story so much that even when I published my first book, The Ghost of My Parents, the book was supposed to be Oba. That's Oba Kwanye. Oba Kwanye means the rival of the world. So it was more like in my mind, when they came from colonialism, there was still pure blood in Africa. There were still African pure bloods. Those people who separated themselves from the civilization and went into the deep, deep forest and said that no, we are not going to be part of this nonsense. And they devised a spiritual mechanism around that forest that those people in this so-called civilized world cannot have access to that. You can see. So it was thrilling. Whenever I tell him about the hunter who mistakenly got into that town and started seeing sophisticated weapon and all. So, what I'm trying to go now is, shall we put in Parajo madness there? What I'm saying now, because before you pen it down, these things will disturb your mind. You know what I mean? You can see the whole story playing out. It's like a movie, but it's playing out in your mind. You can see everything, the whole character, the scenery. In fact, sometimes you might be even arguing, talking with the character when you're building. So now let me ask you this question, because there was an American author, it's called Susan Sontag from America. She said isolation is indispensable for writers. So there has been arguments about solipsism and researching. Solipsism means some people argue that writers just come up with their own self-ideas, trying to infuse their self-ideas on people and project it as if it's an intellectual work. Why some people say no, writers are people that are voracious readers and they make research. As a matter of fact, for a published work, the background of what has went into that work, a good work, is in fact is more than the published work, that work you see. So what will you have to say about the statement isolation is indispensable for writers and the argument between solipsism? Solipsism is self-knowledge versus researching.
Okay, now that is a fact. Isolation is indispensable. I don't know of any writer who enjoys, being in the midst of crowd or environment that is isolated. They may be, but I don't know of any. Okay. Now, the writing is a highly intellectual activity. In language, we say that it's productive here. Now, for you to be able to concentrate and create, this world you want to, be it real or imaginary. Now, you need, a level of concentration that you can only get when you isolate yourself. Now, when I say isolation, it may not necessarily mean cutting yourself completely off from people. No, it might not mean that. But you need some form of quiet for you to concentrate. Now, let me use myself as an example now. When I started writing my first published book, The Dawn of a New Era, it's a play, actually. I started writing, I wrote that book for 3 years. It's just a very short play. But when I started writing it, I was in an environment that did not give me the opportunity to isolate myself, and I wasn't able to focus until I now got myself in an environment where I could wake up 2 a.m. and the environment is very comfortable. I have everything I needed to do, and it didn't take me up to 2 months to complete what I wanted to complete. So you cannot take away isolation away from writing, because when you in an isolated place where you have some quiet, it helps you to really, writing a book is just like when I met with the writer of In the Lonely Days. I can't remember his name now. Yes, he told me that he has 4 books that he has written in his head already, but he just did a quiet place. He has 4 books that he has written in his head, but he just did a quiet place to download them.
It happens to me as I am right now. I have 4 books in my head, honestly, that I've not penned down. But I know how the story. I've built the plot.
Exactly.
I've finished the book in my mind. Like it happens to me, honestly. So what will you have to say about solipsism and researching? Some people are arguing that, but do we have some writers truly that are actually pushing solipsism? Because you see you get one guy where they look for. That guy will write 30 things you must do before 30. If I catch that guy, now another day, another talk for another. If I catch that guy, more. Now beat him. 30 things you must do before 30. It seems as if the guy said you have to go to 30 funerals, you have to attend 30 weddings, you have to attend, this kind of nonsense. So then you have to have a car, you must already have buy. What did he say? Invest. It was just saying all these things that. So the argument is solipsism, that's self-knowledge. Writers pushing their self-knowledge that sometimes is not intelligent to some set, or there's been a lot of researching that has gone behind before a writer could be so confident to say, I want to publish this work. So what will you say about this argument going on?
the argument about self-knowledge, I can't completely write it off. When you trace everything back to the Greeks, to Socrates and all that, there were people who put out things based on their knowledge, not majorly based on, because before that time there was virtually nowhere you want to go and research for. You are working basically on things you have seen that you know things that, or you just think the way things should be. So I won't rule that out completely. But in the wrong, if you assume that everybody that writes is writing on that basis, that is where it's wrong. But I will not rule out the fact that there are some people who are, putting out self-knowledge. A writing, believe that, sometimes you write to show this is how a particular thing is, or this is how it should be. So if you are writing based on this is how it should be, this is how it will be based on how you have taught it. It might not be possibly based on what you have seen or what is real, but based on what your knowledge. I think that, okay, this book should be painted black because black color will appear more bright, not because black, you have any other thing that will favor any other person. So it is yes or no thing. I cannot rule it out completely. It is true.
All right, Yomi.
Yeah.
I want you to pick it from that solipsism and researching. And there's one question for you, which is a question that pops up to all writers. Your muse. So, what is your muse? People want to know. Some people will tell you that before they can get into the writing state, they need solipsism. Some will tell you that they need to go to club. Some wants to experience it, like experience the real thing. You might be writing about maybe we've seen crime writers actually commit the crime, exact crime of the details of what they've written. You see them now. It's more like they gave the world the details of what they want to do. And we've seen some people go explicit. In fact, they write about all the sexual exploit and all that, but they want to experience it before they could document it. Whereas you see some people just watch a movie or just create it from the imaginative. So what will you say is your muse? Is it practicality? Is it solitude? Is it what? We want to know your muse,
Okay, thank you, Dimeji. So let me go back to the solipsism, this self-knowledge, and research. Do you understand? So I think both of them, that argument is in a way intertwined. They are interrelated. For me, I think because for every human being, I think our experiences in life goes a long way to shape our thinking, our thought process, the way we perceive things, and the way we now in turn decide to put some of those things down that we think about into writing. Do you understand? So as much as we can talk about self-knowledge, even what Bassey said earlier, when he talked about the times when probably we could not maybe research online or something like that, maybe we had restricted access to research, you can still not undermine the place of solipsism, self-knowledge. I mean, that is top notch because we derive knowledge from different bases or aspects of life. From what we have read in times past, reading could be maybe an article, a book, online, print, or what we had, or the movies we watched. So these are so many ways at which knowledge could be accumulated. So in the end, they now turn out to become knowledge that have been acquired per time. Then if you go by the way of research too cannot be overestimated. I mean, we need research to acquire more and more knowledge. I mean, for example, I majored in philosophy. I'm a graduate of philosophy. So they told us back then in my undergraduate days that you have to, I mean, a philosopher is a lover of knowledge. I mean, the etymology of philosophy itself is philo and sophia. Philo means love and sophia means knowledge. That's lover of knowledge. So as I am a philosopher, I study the basis of almost every discipline you can think about. So if you ask me maybe about movie now, or about filming, or about directing, I should be able to talk about one thing out of some of those disciplines based on maybe the research I have made. I don't know if you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
me.
yeah.
So both researching and self-knowledge are top ways at which knowledge can be documented. So then going forward to my muse, personally, time passed. I can recollect that some of the ways where when ideas come to me most, especially maybe when I am isolated, maybe when I'm in the bedroom. It might sound odd. But those are the times when I get inspiration or thoughts or I want to do something. So, and immediately some of those things come to me. I know quite all right that the best thing for me to do is to document some of those things, whatever it is, even if it's not writing a book, anything I want to do, in as much as I don't want to forget that thing, once it comes, once that idea drops, I have to pen it down in my diary so that so I think maybe a quiet place in the end, aside from the bedroom or something, a quiet place for me is where I get more inspiration to
All
put things
all
down.
right.
I mean,
Bassey, what about you? What's your muse? What has been your muse?
Okay. One fortunate thing about my muse is that anything can be an inspiration, right? Uh, I've written a lot of poems that were just based on minor things, like woke up on the bed, raised my window, and the sun, sun ray just flashing across my face, inspire something. Anything I can be anywhere, noisy or quiet, and it can happen. What matters is that at that point, let me just not have anything that is disturbing my mind. As long as my mind is calm, is settled, anywhere I am. But for me to be able to grow that idea into something meaningful, it has to be a quiet place. I have to be isolated. Yeah,
Well,
that is how it works for me.
I think I subscribe to both of you, but I just think mine might sound strange, but it's just the honest truth. My muse, honestly, I've always been writing something. I'll write from the streets I was summoned. If you remember, if you have seen some of my writings online, I'll say from the streets I was summoned. That is actually the summary of my own muse. You see, it can come in trance, it can come in conversation, it can come in, but I'm people oriented. So people's story, predicaments, and I decided myself. Because Baba, if I'm very good with words, and that's at least to some certain extent, back then when I was in the world, I was good, I was really good with words when it comes to words. But truth is,
I
I felt
understand.
like I didn't want to put my energy into romance. I don't want to write a romance where maybe it would more be like erotic. I want to actually use this my gift for something that will serve humanity. So let me give you an example. My second novel, Dwelling in the Belly of the Beast. It was my elder brother's friend that came to our house. So he was narrating to my elder brother how he went to go and charge phone in the next street. From charging phone, he didn't know that some courts has fought. They shot one person, whatnot. The police just came to come and pack. So him, the charger, they just pack him joint. Now so the guy go kill. Like play, like play. Do you know they rope this guy? This guy spent 3 months for killing. So when he was narrating his story, I was like, for this country, he said, yes. He said, in fact, they told him like this and others that it is until that guy where they coma, if that guy dies, they go die for jello. See, every one of them, their mama, their papa, everybody can't go, they go mountain. Go they pray for people where they no born, where they don't know why he go just go, he must not die. To cut the long story short, that guy no die. 3rd month, you know, whatnot. So he told me how he was freed and how his mama come out in clothes, prison clothes, born up. Do you know? I just sat down there. I was like, but Solomon, how many months you spend for jail? He talks 3 months. It was there. I was like, wait, Jonah spent 3 days for inside fish. But Solomon, you spent 3 months. This 3 number. I carry pen. Now my elder brother story where they use cry for our compound. Now I take write my second novel. dwelling in the belly of the beast, I declare you. So that's how my own muse could be. In fact, I could just listen to you. I could even read your book, that your last born book. Make I just see one line, which just catch me. I just say, wait, oh, I go leave Yomi alone. Talk say, Yomi no emphasize this thing. Secondary school people, they suffer for this thing. Oh, I won't write about this thing. So I think muse are that's how me. So that's why I always tell people that I'm not a conventional writer. I'm a deep writer. I would like to be categorized under depth. Like I'm a very deep writer. I like to. I like, if you read The Gods of My Parents, Bassey, you've read it, right? I think I read your own first book too. If you read The Gods of My Parents, of course, I read yours too. You know, I read your book, so that one is something. So if you read The Gods of My Parents, that's my first novel. I had people messaging me. The second chapter was CIA, Conglomerate of Intelligent Africans. I had secondary school students messaging me, saying, "Sir, is this CIA real? I want to join." I was like, now fiction, no, I don't know whether I'm DSS or my lecturer, Dr. Gbade told me point blank that, do you know this book? If I publish it during military era, say they go carry me go jail. Say this book where I just say this book where I reveal too many things. And what was the thing I wrote about the gods of my parents? I just sat down one day and I was like, wait, Yomi na my friend, na my brother, I meet him for school. Yomi na Muslim. I meet another guy for school. He tell me say me traditional worshiper. This guy na good guy. In fact, that traditional worshiper, waiting I trust him with. Me and Yomi, they do bad things, pass him. Maybe that guy don't swear for his papa with Ailala and him. Say, Bami, when it's moon, that guy they upright pass us for uni. I declare you 100%. So I can't sit down. So waiting and they down yourself. The gods of my parents. If I say our parents say they know they unity. So they can't pass that confusion on top of. So that news is still what will now lead to the next thing I want to say now. That was why I explained this. What are the psychological benefits of an authorial lifestyle? Psychological benefits. What has been the psychological benefit for you so far to be an author? You know, so whoever wants to take it first, this is not conventional now. Whoever the matter they bump on your heart, you just go first. And I'm sorry to the listeners, I could be switching from Pidgin to English. The reason is because I'm with my people that I'm so comfortable with. So sometimes I may not forget that. So pardon me. So what can we say are the psychological benefits of an authorial lifestyle?
Let me allow.
Okay. Maybe I should
go.
Should I go first?
Shoot, please, shoot.
Yeah, go for it. May not be like you like to use a seniority thing on you.
Oh God. Okay, I get. So personally, I mean, I think the way you even feel at the end of putting out this work, number one, the way it has been accepted within the circles of family, friends, even my colleagues and former colleagues and everything. I mean, you would know that, I mean, people are looking at what you do. Do you understand? And for me, one thing I have said, and I'll keep reiterating, is that it's like the way they accepted the work, they have given you more reason for you to put in more effort to churn out more productive, piece of work that would also be beneficial to the society. So, I look at myself and I think, yes, I may be growing gradually, but I think I'm a little bit fulfilled because I'm just like probably the actors. I see myself like probably the actors of this world that when they grow, not everyone grows old before they pass on, but whenever they pass on, they might obviously die or leave the world in the physical realm, but they don't die in the real sense of death because the good works that they've put out continue to live after them. Do you understand? So I think, okay. So I think that's the way, I mean, the psychological aspect for me. I think I think that, okay, the little work or the small work that I've done, I've been able to, I mean, do something that people will look at and they'll feel like,
Yomi, someone is making a comment and says, kindly turn down the volume.
I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen it.
So, Bassey, now you come in now and tell us the psychological benefits of an authorial lifestyle. Has it been you walking into a mall and everybody's screaming, "No, Bassey!" You know, like whiskey now. Bassey, you missed out if you don't know.
Okay, it's obviously an amazing thing. For me, you know, the very first writing I put out there that was really encouraging and psychologically motivating for me was when I was during my NC days, you know, English double major. Then I wrote a script for the final year film production for theater art department. That script was tagged the players. You know, writing
Network.
for me has always been the major reason or motivation for writing has always been to air out my, in most cases, grievances towards things I consider abnormal. And that is why most times, if you look at most of my writing are plays. Yeah, because in plays, I feel that I can create those characters to express themselves, you know, to say those things I want. So, and in that, the players that I wrote back then in school during MC, it was actually based on, you know, let me not use the word fraud now, but there was an activity that the student affairs officers, you know, got involved with the SUG. I happened to be among the SUG then. So I needed to call his attention and condemn that act. So that was what gave birth to the players. It caused me a lot of trouble in school then. I remember my clearance was not signed until it was the dean.
I had the gist.
They introduced.
I had the gist.
So the introduction of theater art, who fortunately for me happened to be the dean at that time. That was what saved me because he was the one that supervised the production, and he happened to, so it was the dean that signed my clearance, contrary to the normal process you need to follow. So and when the thing was, I saw the way it was received. You know, I thought that, wow, okay, I've been able to communicate this thing. So when I wrote the second one, the dawn of the new era too, you know, in fact, Gbade-Bello was the one who edited and who reviewed that book. You know, he told me that, Bassey, if you have written this book before or after the NSAS, you know, everyone reading it would think that you actually got your material from the NSAS. The book predicted NSAS 100%.
Yeah. Your book predicted it.
Yeah. You know, and it was written back in 2016.
Thinking about that,
you know, but it contained
thank God you brought that in. Thank God you brought that in. Ah, Jesus. I have a lot to say for a short space of time. You know, writers, there is a mighty hand of spirituality upon us, regardless of which religion you come from. Honestly, I've seen it happen in Nawale Sadawi's work. Of course, you could imagine things fall apart. People could relate to things fall apart in Korea. Korea, even leave Africa. In Korea, they could relate to things fall apart. The person who write Tantuna Achebe said, now then you know, say, oh, more waiting, they stop. Say, Korea and they talk, say, we experienced the same thing 2 years. Say, you could understand how your work could mean a lot. See, my second work, honestly, I did a test for myself. My first work, I knew it. I still know it today. That if you could make a movie out of my first work, it would be a blockbuster. So my second work, it was like, I you see, person when win Grammy, no win Grammy the day when I give him Grammy. Now for me first track, he don't know. Saying he be what Grammy artist. He don't deal. Yeah. So you know that one I just when you na catch along with them. Get my second book, I was like, no, this book is too good. That's Gbade-Bello. I felt like this book was too good. So I needed to push off my limit. So I took that book and I took a very, 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 very big risk for myself. I went to someone that I know that this person is not scared to say the truth. A big shout out to Dr. Tunde Bakare. That's Pastor Tunde Bakare. Gave him the book. You know Tunde Bakare. Pastor Tunde Bakare would never align his name to anything that does not make sense, that is not intellectual. So I told him I wanted him to write a foreword for the book. So I was expecting his response. Once I got his response and I saw everything he wrote, looks like a love letter. Bro, nobody could convince me then I'm the best author. I'm the best writer. Nobody you could, because do you know what it means? You should understand. That was even before I met. That was before I even met Wole Soyinka. Before my book got featured in UNESCO. Do you know what that means psychologically to you? That you release your first song, no be Whiskey call you, no be Burna Boy, but now Rihanna tell you say, I need a featuring with you. This thing, go well with you. You go scatter your room, you will go be like, I'm a Bassey. I'm not, you get. So I think we writers, we are actually very, very gifted and big, regardless of what the society is displaying. We have to express our gifts. And we hold nature for that. We are not necessarily in the business of trying to get a reward and make a fortune out of the kind of craft we found ourselves. Yes, we could. Fortune will fall on our laps. But a craft that could actually make you an enigma, a force in the society, is an encompassing craft. It's different from it's different from a craft where you need to portray a certain kind of way. Yomi will be invited to come and be speaking in some kind of spaces, either secondary school seminars, top conferences. That was you get. Yomi will also be invited to come and say, okay, fine, we want to do maybe literally debating society and come and be the judge. Yomi also will also serve as, okay, come to this television. We want to. You see, that's an encompassing image of Yomi. Now people are seeing him as a leader. His voice is now it's different from I'm portraying myself to be just a very social, happy person. So everything has its pros, advantages, and disadvantages. So if anybody has chosen to be on this line of a writer, just know that you are in a business that is encompassing. It takes your totality. It's reshaping the whole of your image. I'm sorry that I'm supposed to be asking the question. I'm not going to overtalk now. I'm not going to listen. Now let me throw this question up again. Because of what you said, we've talked about duration, we've talked about the muse, psychological benefit. Now let's talk about the societal reception. Now this is where we have issue. How has the societal reception been so far? Has it been encouraging? Or do you think this is an industry where we have a lot to do? Provided the fact that I don't know if you have pushed work through governments, but I also have a story to tell in that aspect. So let me just show this. How has been the societal reception for authors?
Okay. For me, it has not really been as expected, and that is understandable because I've not really pushed. Like I've not pushed my work the way I should push them. Because when I published the dawn of a new era, my intention was to, I was just looking for this political awakening. That book was not. I didn't write that book with the intention of making money from it, or I just wanted to educate the Nigerian of what they should do prior to the 2023 election. And initially, I got the support. Someone was ready to sponsor that book to be staged at the National Theatre in Gomu, but COVID-19 struck, and that was how we missed the opportunity. Now, we've not been able to. So I've not really put my own, but this is what that did for me. As I'm speaking to you, I've already been invited to be part of an examination. What is this literary competition? Yes, part of the assessor. So I think from next month in Lagos State at Mushu, this thing is coming. So I'm already one of that.
You see, for me, I told you should be prepared.
Yes,
be prepared.
That
all these things will come.
is one of that. I was also I was also called upon by Kaduna State government some time ago for their book review. Their secondary school book review. They needed someone who could train their staff on how to review books that are used in secondary school. So I was contacted. I did a pre-review kind of job for them. So we are still waiting the training proper. And then they have been training on creative writing that I've been invited to, and some that will still going. So even though the aim for which I wrote that book, I didn't really get that platform because I needed a place that will book that. And Lagos was one of those before they were threat. The producer told us that Lagos State will not allow us. That was after the COVID-19 phase. We're pushing for the next phase again with the theater group in Lagos. They said the book contain information that would directly attack Lagos State government because I was after the politician. So he said if we do that book in Lagos, it was going to cause some kind of trouble. So because of that, honestly, we've not been able to really achieve what I wanted to achieve with that book. And I've not pushed it to government because my intention first was not just to write it for secondary school. I needed my audience, voters, people, Nigerians who were literate enough to read that book and understand their responsibilities as Nigerians when it comes to electing. It was supposed to be a kind of a violent, in quotes, something to activate in Nigeria. So, but I will not say it has been bad because I have not put in the effort that is needed to achieve what I want. I'm sure that when I do that, it will be a different case. I noticed our lecturer now, this man, he has requested for the book. He's trying to use it in a private university that he's teaching in Lagos there. So we are still working towards getting him, samples to see.
You see that's one of the. But I'm going to get to the heart of the conversation there. Then I'll brush over it. So Yomi, jump in. How has been? Yomi na him be the new hot cake. Maybe we go yes. Yomi said no. He don't sell 500 million copies. So how has been societal reception?
Okay. I think it's a gradual process, but like I've mentioned earlier, I've touched on it, this particular question earlier. So I think it's a gradual process, but for me, the way people have seen what I have done and they be like, okay, this work, they learned so and so. In terms of maybe values, societal values that is going down the drain in a very, very, very alarming rate. Compare the way some of the values that we grew up with or we were raised with, some of them, they are almost as good as non-present in today's generation. So those are some of the things I was able to preach in my book. And I think for as many people that have laid their hands or gotten copies of that book, I can't really express how much appreciative feel. Okay, for the sales, right? Where I've tried as much as possible to get support from my end. Okay, we are looking at getting the first set of copies we got, maybe like 100. We have been able to exhaust it. So now we're trying to get more copies, even from my own personal end. Then also trying to also reach out for more support so we can get more copies that will be reprinted. Do you understand?
Yeah, I'll just come in here because I don't want to forget my thoughts. I want to use this medium to also appreciate good people like Dr. Shegun Jegede. See that man, I get love for that man. Not with that man, but our story no be here. Good friends, good, amazing. I have amazing friends. I can't mention all of them. Fantastic people. But we can't leverage on that in this kind of conversation I'm trying to talk about. In Finland and some countries, when we have a new author, a published author, the government buys certain copies from the author, then distribute to, after they've read it, read the content of the book, oh, this is good. They buy certain copies. In fact, the government will be your first customer to buy from you. Or let me say maybe first investor, however you put it, buy from you, then distribute to all libraries across the country, nationwide. So you could imagine the certain number of copies a government is buying from you. So we look at that and we talk about how is our community libraries faring? Do we even have the existence of community library? The answer is capital no. What we have is some sort of library that seems more like a charity work. It's not a functional library like the way it is in this Western world. In this Western world, every street, every community has their own library. So aside from the school library, aside from your secondary school, whatever library, community library, there's some. So that is a community, that is a nation, that is a country that is investing heavily on this intellectualism. They don't want idiots around. But I think what we have in our country are two things or three things, as the case may be. At every 5-minute walk, you see a mosque or a church and a brothel. So what do you think such a society will produce? If not fanatics, they'll produce, social, some more social vices that we are writing about. And there is this perception about the fact that when you're a writer, you are in a conclave that is far-fetched from a common man. No, as a matter of fact, a writer is dear to the common man because it is the common man that gives the writer a story. Look at what Bassey said. That is the story of a common man. Look at what I've said. That is the story and history of a common man. Look at what you said. Last born, etiquette, and that is the story of a common man. So how do you think because I wrote, that makes me far-fetched? So we need to correct all these things. So I think if we have intelligent people on board, Ogun State could start, any state could start, there should be, this encouragement of, we don't need to lobby. I've pushed my book for Ogun State just to accept my book in secondary school, GSS3. They read it, it was good, perfect, but they were expecting me to actually, now talk about some sort of percentage, which I started, I don't understand. So I was supposed to now bribe my way through and all. And these are people that are trying to even stand their feet, when we look at all these things, it's not really encouraging. I'm not just speaking for ourselves, Some of us can be quite fortunate. We have some people that music was their escape route from poverty. Writing should also be. Writing can also be. In societies, writing, some people do is they just write stories. That's their occupation. So writing can also be. So that is just what I am advocating for. That's what I'm advocating, and that's what I think we should look into, because there must be a reason why we are authors right now, and this industry is like this. Why some people are thriving in a thriving industry, maybe a whole industry has fallen into our own laps for us to actually do something about it. Sorry, they say my mouth is sweet, but you know what I'm saying is true. These are obtainable facts I'm presenting to you. So, and you look at that boy, because I remember when I started, look at that boy now, that maybe they don't have generator, have no access to TV. All he has right now is his pen, his imaginative mind, and trying to document some things. That boy could be the next Nobel. In fact, what do I mean by Nobel laureate? Why can't we have some sort of a grand, award associated to writers in Africa too? So these are things we need to talk about. But I hope they give us chance. They give us chance. I mean, the real people that are actually passionate about this thing, I hope they give us chance to be in the corridors of power. When we are there, I hope it is not all about percentage again. They let us do the real work. So that these people, they are fantastic guys that can write from the village. If this guy tells you story, look at this story of Obojo de Ninugo Irumole. How can a urban boy write that? If not from a rural guy that will. And what is the difference between that kind of story and Harry Potter?
That's solipsism.
Yeah. What is the difference between that kind of story? Yeah, that is magical realism. We call it magical realism.
Okay.
They're playing with our that's creativity, magical realism. Harry Potter did the same thing. Merlin did the same thing. Obojo Deninu Irumole. I can bet you a boy that grew up in Lekki can never write that kind of book. You know it, Bassey. Yomi, you know it. That is the proper story of a rural boy. And that story is so rich that it went global. How many of these stories are we losing because of the fact that the classism that exists We are not even tapping into our human resources very well. And this, we are so talented. One thing I just noticed is when we are like anywhere Belle face, it was oil. Everybody abandoned everything. Music now, everybody, even in the music, we still have some people, writers that are suffering in this music industry, that they are the one writing hit songs. And they are not getting their credit enough. I don't know whether you understand. Do you know you can diversify as a writer? Bassey can decide to write each song for some. They can employ that Bassey and say, please, Baba, write each song for me. In form of poem, we write poem now. So what is the difference between me spending with you in the studio and trying to brush up your lyrics and all? Well, that is just what we need to, we need to also look into that aspect, because it is not just our self-effort. I know Yomi has been pushing. When I saw Yomi pushing, I was like, wow, Yomi has taken pictures with many celebrities and all. Same, of course, same as me and Bassey. But those are self-efforts, and so self-efforts with government efforts, it will complement and it will help these gifts. Now, I'll ask you, your work, do you believe your work is worthy to be read by a certain group in the educational sector, whether just S3, SS3, or JAM, or primary school? The answer is yes. But can you get your work there in the Nigerian system that we have right now? We have some books that are recommended now that you can beat your chest that your book is better than this book. But
in fact, let me just call it. I tell you something now that will shock you too. Just what you mentioned about getting your book. You know that FC Oshele approved that play, The Dawn of the New Era. They had actually approved it and went through it, and they say, okay, we are good to go. But do you know, in fact, this time I remember this, I don't know if I should get angry or just laugh about it. Do you know that in the long run, what they want me to part away with, is not even enough for the production of the book, not to talk of what I will take. Like they were taking like 80% and giving me 20%, out of which I'm to produce the book, transport it down, and then get. So you can imagine. So I just walked away. I walked away. The deal never went through. I just moved. So you see, we are in a society where there are a lot of problems when it comes to the book when it comes to book. The person producing the book, the society makes it difficult for that person to even produce the book first, and when after producing the book for the book to get to the audience who has printed the book, the society also have problems that even make it difficult for that person to even want to read the book. Like you were saying, I teach literature, GS1 to SS3. When you see books they recommend for GS3, I'll just be wondering that these are books that nursery 2 should be reading, and the government will recommend it for GS3 students.
I said
books that after you just wonder.
The man I met at Ogun State educational the educational sector that is trying to push my book told me I read
Ministry of
Education. I read this up. As a matter of fact, I didn't even carry the girls of my parents go, because girls of my parents are wild. Me they don't carry me, because that one at university go day during the belly of the beast. Even my anthology when UNESCO approve. Bro, do you know what it mean? UNESCO approve my book, and nobody they read that book for the whole Nigeria. UNESCO, United Nations approved my book. They publicized my book. They put down for their catalog. They did their websites. See, this is what we are talking about. This is pure. Look at what Bassey talk now. I still big shout out to my publisher, to Pablo. That guy will be working on the glove. You know him now. He's
I know that. He's my publisher too now.
He's a publisher too.
Yeah, of course, the one.
So
the one that published my
shout out to him. What am I trying to say in core essence is this? These young chaps, see, I'm just curious. Yomi, when we were growing up, we used to read. We were so eager to read. We love reading. And I still believe these kids wants to read. But what avenue are you really providing what kind of materials are you providing for this archaic books? Trust me, Things Fall Apart is good, but Things Fall Apart should be in the museum right now. Baba, forget, we know Things Fall Apart should fall into category of historical book, colonialism. We are talking about contemporary now. We they talk about AI. This is the reality we are talking about. Augmented reality, AI, robotics, science fiction. Give me Things Fall Relation in custody. You get for you job.
It's what you're saying now is just like what we have in our university or tertiary institution. What is playing out there, whereby I mean the methods or the materials that the lecturers are still using are methods they've been using for like 30 years, maybe since 1994 or 1990, and they are still using them in 2024. You understand? So they need. You now ask yourself, how important or what is the value some of those things they are teaching? How is it valuable? What is it changing in the lives of their students in this age and time?
Let me give you a shocker because we are rounding up already. Let me give you a shocker. You won't believe this. During my NYSC, Bassey, I entered the class and I asked the class, see, my hands on the Bible, Scouts or no, I'm not lying. I asked the class, how many of, because I know they notice, I've been teaching them things that I don't believe. They will tell me they don't understand. To me, I felt like, are you guys dons? I don't understand. Is this the backyard of the world? You get? So I asked them, okay, does anybody here know who Fela Anikulapo is? Raise up your hand. Nobody raised up their hands up. In SS3. Nobody just one SS3. And that was 2000. And when I served, I'm coming. I finished 2016, 2017. Who sabi Fela Anikulapo? They know sabi Fumilayo. They know sabi Kuti. And like this, I do see. Nigeria, we don't finish. So
that's the lacuna now. That's the gap of no exposure to history in our secondary school self. There are some subjects that are supposed to be like requirements or required for all these pupils. French, history, some of these things. I mean,
how can the gap of someone knowing the recent world be like this and knowing about her past or his past be like this? There's a problem in this.
Yeah.
There's a problem here.
It's dangerous.
You know, and the past helps you to appreciate what the present is showing you and even pushes you more so you can push more to drive. I mean, go forward.
History gives you purpose. History gives you purpose.
I mean,
look, the Irish people here, an average Irish person will tell you why they don't like some sect of people. And if you listen to them, they'll tell you in the past, historically, they did this, they did that. And they are standing firm on the fact that no, we are progressing as a whole nation and we need to be one. I'm not saying that is the best way to react, but I am saying these people know themselves.
They are aware of their reality, and it is the knowledge that they formed based on content or things that they've been able to consume in terms of, I mean, developing themselves intellectually.
And that's why we are rounding up now, and that's why sometimes I laugh when I sit under the administration of aspire to perspires. Please, I'm not aspire to perspires. People will come and tell you, arouse your emotion, say many nonsense in a charismatic way. And I wonder, this thing they work for Nigeria. But we are not going to toe that line because we know that we are in the business of freeing the mind of our people. We're in the business of enlightening them, educating them, liberating them, and we'll do our best. Look, coming and embracing the life of an author has been one of the greatest honor I have used my gifts to do for humanity. And like Yomi also said that when you die, you know you didn't die. You live on. Bassey can confidently say right now that his work His works has been tested and has been approved by nature itself, by God. He has seen this. I'm going to give you this instance actually as a roundup. I wrote The Ghost of My Parents. In that book, I wrote about a main character whose girlfriend they were posted to the same place. You know, they were posted, and in the book, of course, there was an accident. There was a spiritual coordinated accident where those guys, they needed human blood. So once the accident happened, people thought they will come and rescue them. So those guys just came from the bush, started slitting people's throats, you know, draining it to the calabash and all. When I wrote that and all, could you believe what are the odds? What are the odds that the gods were playing with me? That me and my then girlfriend were posted to the same place. Baba, from the journey from Southwest to Benue, that Jesus had just a call. He brought to enter Calabar. Jesus, I thought I had written the story of my life. These are the things that you know that it is in you as an author. You have been touched. You have been touched by a supernatural hand of truth. That order that governs this nature. I'm telling you. And if you go and look, you know the funny thing. Do you know what pen stands for? Historic in the past, feather. After we end this life, go and check all the colors of the feathers. There is no negative connotation. They will tell you that black feather, everything means something positive. Every color of the feather. That's the only thing symbolic ever, that the black means something positive, white means something positive, red means something positive, yellow. So when you dream right now, and a certain color of a feather fall into your hand, you already know your purpose. Sorry, metaphysical, man. But now, so
wow.
To be honest, I know we can spend 1 year around this topic, but we just have to end. Now, my last question for both of you is this, and thank you for embracing the paradoxes of being, you know, an author. Now, my question is, what is the projection? How do you project, let's say 5 years, 10 years from now, the authorship in Africa, authorship in Nigeria? Is it a venture that you believe we are going to experience a turnaround? Is it going to boom like the music industry? And the Bello now, where they talk saying new beat, you go turn OG now. Now you go turn to the new aspire to aspire public again. What our projection? And please, you can give us 2 dimensions that if we move in this way, you believe things are going to go this way. If we move in this way, you believe things are going to go this way. Please shoot, then Yomi can come after.
Okay. Well, I'm not too optimistic about, you know, the future when it comes to writing in the country. Not because we don't have highly intellectual people, but because one, the current educational system we run now does not really prepare people to be, you know, intellectual, except a few who will just have that special grace, you know, to get to that point. The current education system we run now does not really, you know, prepare people, you know, to be that. And then the arrival of AI is going to kill a lot of talent. There are people who, yes, there will be many writing, of course. AI can give you anything you want, don't give him the right prompt. So we may have a situation where we have people putting out AI-generated books, you know, that really lack the human feeling, the human touch that comes with the type of books that, you know, we see written now. Okay, so I'm not too optimistic about it, except, of course, there is a revolution, especially in the educational industry sector, that will start to prepare people to produce. We prepare people who consume now. You know, the student we have, they hardly will create. They just want to be, they are just passive receivers who just receive. So the system is not producing, creating, training people who want to produce. Okay. And the society too does not really acknowledge, you know, the few who are creating. In fact, if anything, they want to exploit you. You want to publish a book now, you want to present to the government, they negotiate in such a way that in the long run you are lost. And you get discouraged and you want to stop. The people that we are going to see who will truly make a difference are people who are writing for change. They're not just writing, to make money. I'm not just writing to just write. They have a purpose. Like I'm trying to write to change my generation. Those people will not be discouraged by some of these things I've mentioned. They will keep writing and keep pushing and expecting it to go, to go. So if that happens, those are the people we may have, or if our education system change. But the way things are, I will not lie to you. I don't see, writing, being something that I'm so optimistic that I'm going to do. I'm going into publishing very soon, and I intend to do that, but more of educational publishing anyway. But I will keep writing because whenever I write, I'm writing for something. I'm not just writing. I want to sell and make money from those books. So that is the way I see it. I'm not sure
I should have let you come after, and the newbie come first. Now I don't like the way we talk now. We say the newbie go they say she must write industry, but Baba they
do so to be completely say this. The industry is huge. They are potential. It is just the environment. So to succeed, I think that you don't have to overlook these bottlenecks that obviously exist in the environment. Focus on what you want to achieve. Don't come into it, I want to make money, I want to make fame. No, there should be something you want to change. And from there, and of course, we may not just, like Nick didn't say the last time, we can diversify. Let our writing not just be, writing for, like you put out a novel. If you can write a songwriter, you're also a writer, in a way. You can diversify, because of more creativity. But let us not follow the pattern like our forefathers. Volition can write a book and boom, the thing goes. They write a book and boom. It's not going to happen like that this time. It won't. Because the society we are now don't appreciate the value that comes with it.
But people will tell you that likes of like Chimamanda Adichie, then they write and then they call you out. So waiting they saw.
I just like 1 out of 1 million.
You don't forget, say Mama writes when Mama Japan, Mama writes Americana. So we are not discouraging. We are just spitting the truth here.
No, we are not. We just try to be realistic. That's my own perspective, my own.
What do you think? And you can also give us the 2 ways that, okay, if we move in this line, you believe this is it. If we move in this line, you believe this is going to be. So what's your projection?
Personally, I think that there are different writers or different authors who probably are sent to do different things. Authors, I feel, are maybe like prophets. Do you understand? Some are able to tell what is going to happen maybe in the near future, what has happened in time past, or what is currently happening. So I'm now going to even cite an example of Bassey here, who has a book or who wrote a book and foretold an answer that would happen maybe like 4 years before it happened, with his own book that came around 2016 or so. So I think, irrespective of the challenges that is probably obtainable in this industry as we speak, every industry has its own challenges, hazards, worries, and everything. I can totally relate with the one he was even saying that he took his book to FC Oshele and something like that, and maybe he was giving maybe like a 20% for him to still produce. I began to see some of those signs from some of the people I'm relating with, so I can relate with that totally. It's a terrible feeling. It's a totally terrible feeling when you are putting so much effort into something. Your intellectual, material. What is your intellectual property that is supposed to be with you, or it's not even supposed to, is your own from forever. So even if anybody is going to buy the intellectual property, they should be ready to pay a kind of payment that will never get exhausted. So, but you find a society like ours where people want to exploit you in the name of they want to support you, whatever support they are giving you. Maybe you want to put your in secondary school, they just want to exploit. So, in rounding off, I think many more writers will still emerge, regardless of what our society. Yes, it is true that we have like a consuming, like we have consuming students or consuming audience. Maybe that's just like the society we have. We will still have few people that will still be thoughtful enough to still produce work. And I think the future might not be totally bleak. I mean, the future might in the end be very, very, very prosperous, regardless of what we have. Even with the AI and all, technology cannot totally eradicate the importance or the value of human input. That's what I think.
That's true. And I want to especially appreciate you guys for coming on board, for joining me. And the truth is, I want this episode. This episode is actually special to me. I think I'm going to start it because I'm a writer, and this is one of those episodes I want to use to encourage young people to join. I've been a very fortunate person. To me, I've had a very fortunate life. But the funny thing is, Yomi here knows my story. My story was not like we were born with some silver spoon. I just silver spoon, but silver spoon and logba more. You know, so the truth of the matter is that writing has been one of the honor. Like it's a very big honor for me to be so involved in this venture. I'm not the smartest person in the room. Yeah, I might have been a genius, academic genius, whatever, but I'm not. I don't believe. I don't always believe I'm the smartest person in the room. I believe when I meet people. This is my ideology. I believe when I meet people. That's why I engage people in deep conversation. You cannot leave my presence without the fact that you cannot even say you know me and you say we have not had this conversation before. Because I believe you are 1,000 books I might not have access to read again in my entire life. So why waste my precious time with you talking about football and nonsense when we can have deep conversation? You know, I like when we have soul to soul talk deep conversation. And writing is one of those ways you can actually express and touch the depth of people when they are reading, you know. And I understand the fact that there are constraints in our environment and all. But like I said, some people are thriving in an already thriving industry. Let us look at the opportunity here. A whole industry has fell into our laps. What are we going to do about it? So I'm not asking myself. I'm asking you, Bassey. I'm asking you, Yomi. I'm asking all the writers. I'm asking all the aspiring writers. What are we going to do about it? I cannot do it alone. Like I told you, I don't believe I'm the smartest person in the room. But we cannot allow this industry to die out. This has been one of the top thriving industries before. Across Africa, we have Aikoyama, right? Kobina Seki. We have Camera Lahaye. We get fantastic writers, LSN Go, fantastic writers across Africa that we've read their works, and these works have really affected us.
Olaro,
you remember
me?
What?
Olaro Timmy, the gods are not.
Who is this guy that wrote Ugugi Watiogo?
Yeah. Our husband has gone mad again. Yes. That's Olaro Timmy.
We have all these fantastic, and as a matter of fact, this industry, I can see it with my own very eyes here in this Western world, is still very thriving. Trust me, the reading culture here is still top notch. You see people in the bus reading, train reading, in hospital bed reading, hospital as a worker having his leisure time reading. So you now look to yourself as a writer. How can my people also align? And my people are very intellectual people. Remember, we come from an oral tradition. Our people are they are beautiful storytellers. Trust me. They sit us under the tree and tell us about things. You see kids listening, entertaining. All we just did was we are transferring those methods into writing because we do not have village square anymore. Where we gather now, they become Gbade-Bello go come scatter. Gbade-Bello no go let us talk moonlight story. If we talk, if we tell Bassey now, say, you know, Oh yeah, all of you. Oh yeah, all free time. You go want to but so jokes apart, I know you are getting my message, right? We are just
Of course,
transferring from that
of course.
oral tradition to writing. Yes, some people have actually aligned to this, not for academic purpose, though, as a self-discipline, but we need an increasing number. It is an insulting statement when I heard that they said when you want to hide something from a black man, put it inside a book.
You put in a book because he will never open it.
That's an highly offensive statement, because when you look at every African language I have seen, I have heard, sorry, I can't see a language. Every African language I've heard so far, they are so rich in proverb, rich in idioms, rich in expression, so creative, even with their insults. You see your mom, because your mom wants you've offended your mom, and your mom really wants your dad to beat you, and the water you spilled on the table was just small. Jesus, is that not exaggeration? What's that literary term for exaggeration? Hyperbole. Your mom will say,
Hyperbole.
see the way Bassey poured the whole drum of water. Ah, that will come. No, that's how people say a drum of water. Say, he even bathed me on the. It was God that saved me. I was supposed to drown. That's exaggeration. And our women are so good at that. Our men are so good at porn, at sarcasm. It is your dad. You go and play ball and your leg twist and you're on chair. Your dad will say, Okota. That's your dad pattern of letting you know that nice one. And you're with bandage on your leg, say, Okota, nice one. You see, we learn all these things. When your dad is saying that, you're in trouble. He's not actually playing with you. So these are literary terms we learned, and it is innate, it is part of us. Don't let us kill the creativity in us. We can all become an author. The least you can do if you can become an author, encourage that intellectual activity, that intellectualism in every child. Don't kill it, fam. Well, maybe the message has been heard, has been said, and it's so clear. I just want to specially appreciate Mr. Bassey, Oduma, and my cause, the MC Compare, the Gbade-Bello. Is it
Oh God!
right now? The Gbade-Bello.
You're right.
Thank you guys for honoring me. I do not take it for granted. I appreciate you guys. Street and Cathedral, this is the message I've been trying to use my social platform to spread. Every Sunday we come here to have our own personal intellectual fellowship. Every topic comes on board every Sunday. So sometimes topic go carry us enter street. Sometimes it will carry us enter Cathedral. So these are one of those topics where we enter street. So Cathedral people, we can rest. We go see very soon for Cathedral. So thank you once again. And this is me saying bye for now. Do you have any last word to say?
Okay, I appreciate you for finding out worthy to have this conversation, and I look forward to more of conversation on writing, because it's something that we must keep talking about. It's something we must keep talking about.
Do you have
so I appreciate you, and
let us advertise ourselves. Do you have any new work coming?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Have any
I didn't get that.
Any new work, any new literary work coming anytime soon?
Okay,
Your next
I'm working on a collection of short stories. Yes, regret. It's a collection of short stories. It's titled Regret. That is what
So
I'm
guys,
you've
had it, the grace. Now you have to buy it. All my followers, you must enjoy. So Yomi, your new work, you can push it out and say something.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dimeji, for this opportunity. I feel I've had a great time on the street and Cathedral. It's been an amazing time sharing my thoughts with everyone, with you, with Bassey, and everyone that joined the live video. So my new book, it's my first published book, the parenting and gist from the life of a last born. I mean, I look forward to everyone supporting it. We are looking at putting the book on Amazon as soon as possible, but people would also have the opportunity to purchase it at Roving Heights bookstores in Lagos. I mean, give or take, maybe by end of this month or early next month. So, and people can also reach out to me, I mean, via my social media platform, either on
Okay, great,
Instagram
great, great,
at
great.
Yomi Black.
That's wonderful, and I want you guys to also do me that favor to support him. You know, as a new author, please, we can't lose him. We don't want him to say, "We will say, yeah, industry, you know, please." He has come to stay. Let
Oh
him feel so.
God.
Support his book. And me, my next project is coming up. My next birthday this month, October, which is um, um it's titled Heavens of Immortals. Heavens of Immortals is actually a cathedral book. It's not, we apply some street orientation into cathedral mentality. So, Street Heavens of Immortals, please, once it is out, October 20th, officially, please, it will be available on all platforms then officially. I'm going to do the big book launch. That will be my first book in UK, book launch. So, I'm going to be doing the book launch in UK and all, invite friends and have cocktail. But the most important thing is for you to read, review, get back to me. Let us have engagement. Let us talk. Let us have that, that relationship. And I want to thank you so far for supporting me. You know, I want more people into this industry. This industry, we need to revive it. It's an industry where we need more and more and more. You see, look at our music guys now. Yomi is supposed to be the news kids Daniel now. Where me supposed to be whiskey, you are supposed to collect like you get. Where Bassey supposed to be like Bonner boy, you get. Please let us make that happen in the industry, and we can support ourselves too. We can write together, like Ugugi Watogo and Ugugi Wasiri wrote Trial of Dedan
Yeah.
Kimati. So things like that should
Yeah.
happen too. So we can also feature ourselves in book, right? And stuff like that. I just wish us, I wish us to take this very seriously, and I wish us all the best of God. Thank you very much. And this is me saying peace out to you. Street and Cathedral next Sunday. Join me on that intellectual fellowship. Peace, 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 peace.